Welcome, everybody, back to the Dave Knows Wrestling live stream with my co-host,
Albert Albanese.
That's right. Finally back in the saddle again. First live stream with my man of the new year. Very, very glad to be back.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. Did I miss anything? Happy everything.
Yeah.
Hope you guys are doing well. I missed all you guys, actually.
The question is the feeling mutual?
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, come on.
Find out.
Let's be honest.
We'll find out. 2 thumbs up off the bat. Thank you very much. Means a lot.
Appreciate that. Dave, how was your Christmas?
Good.
Yeah, holidays were good. New Year's were good.
Yeah, same as always. Yours.
Good. Yeah. Can't complain. You know.
Mr. J Jr. Mr. J says, my boy Albert and Dave, 2 best heel and face commentators. I wonder who is who.
I'm obviously the babyface. Let's be honest here.
Yes, the word obvious apparently means something different to you. Davey Boy Lee, how's the Power Slam? Me Power Slam. What's up, Terrell? Ben Espinoza, hey, Dave and Albert, thoughts on Tessa Blanchard winning the Impact Championship World Impact Wrestling World Title? Wow, I know what you meant, but that was worded a little differently. Last night at Hard to Kill. What's up, Ron Hawthorne? I broke up my ex again because she's an HBK fan. Well, that must be a satisfying breakup. And I'm not going to lie, I have not talked to a chick because of that. So I've done that kind of thing myself. What up, Base Up?
What's up, Base Up? I mean, we'll, I guess we're going to...
Yeah, the Tessa situation is definitely something we're going to talk about for sure. It is something, Base Up, I know you brought that up as well.
Base Up even asked me on my newest video that I just dropped the other day, by the way, Slam Sessions Network.
Base Up's actually the one who told me about that. I actually didn't know about that accusation until Base Up told me about it, because so that was actually news to me.
I mean, look, here's the thing. I guess we're very lucky, Arthur. 100% lucky that you happen to have your phone in your hands
20 minutes earlier.
That's right.
So wait, you were holding on to it for 20 minutes? I don't know if that's luck. Like I think that's intent.
I don't really get to hold on to it for about 20 minutes. It's usually done before then.
Well, Arthur is, Yeah.
So all right,
he's got slow reaction time.
So I'm gonna.
All right, Base Up says Tessa Blanchard is she can't be that bad in the early 90s. Incredibly talented, but see, Shawn Michaels was incredibly talented. That's the difference.
Oh my God, here we go.
And last I checked, I don't think, at least, I mean, there are certain accusations about Tessa right now, but one of them isn't that she's blowing her paycheck up her nose. That's the difference. I'm sorry, I meant smile loss. What did I say that? Oh, I'm sorry. How could I forget? I got it all confused. I'm sorry. I'm
just going to let that go because it's the beginning of the year. AJ Envoy, what's going on, man?
Hey, AJ Envoy. We got a great big envoy trucking through the night. How have I never made that joke for you? Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, rest in peace, La Parka Jr., the second La Parka from AAA. He was the top dog in AAA for a very long time, and it's horrible that an accident that happened during a match, it really was the cause of the end of his life. It's horrible.
Mr. J Jr., yes, no, I do too miss the original Dudleys.
Absolutely.
That's the stable with Gertner, Big Dick Dudley. That's really what I think of when I think of the Dudleys. Even today, that's still the
Snot, Dances with Dudley. Dudley.
No, I do. Yeah, as I covered in the video, and it was actually a video that got a lot of traction for me. It's not, Dances with Dudley. It's not as much. Chubby Dudley, not as much, but it is Big Dick Dudley, Bubba Ray, Diva, and Gertner. Like that's the team.
And Sign Guy.
And Sign Guy. Oh, yes. Dave,
I even like the
made
Judge
a song about me. That's an old song, buddy. It's not about you.
I even like Judge Jeff Jones. I was okay with the Judge Jeff Jones. Harry Flynn, what's going on?
Shawn Michaels was R. Kelly before R. Kelly was a thing.
Ooh,
that's
all right.
I can't speak to that, but maybe.
Dave, you can pick one guy to never see or hear from again. Would it be Shawn Michaels or Baron Corbin?
Oh, Shawn Michaels easily.
Wow,
Easily. Get rid of him. Keep Baron Corbin.
True Sinister. All right, look. I guess we'll get into this. All right. I don't want to believe that rumor either. I don't want to believe that anyone could outwardly be a person like that to go up to somebody in a locker room, use a racial slur, and spit in her face. Personally, this is my take on it. Don't tweet something out when you know you have heat. Just first and foremost, Tessa's had heat since 2018 after the Mae Young Classic. WWE didn't sign her because she had an attitude problem. That's a fact.
Hey, Raw the Reflex.
That's one thing that a lot of people aren't realizing within this situation, where everybody talks about like, like where's the proof? Where's the proof? Oh, wait, hold on. Aren't we the same internet that got Fabulous Moolah's name taken off a battle royal for something we never had proof of? But now you guys want to see proof? Like we're very quick to judge
Don't you
certain
get it?
people.
Don't you get it? It depends if you like the person or not.
No. It also depends where they work. So Tessa doesn't work for WWE. So that means that she gets a free pass because she's an indie darling right now, and everybody loves her.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way. But I'm consistent across the board. It's innocent until proven guilty. That's where I come from on this one. And plus, I'm at a point where what? Who said what?
AJ Envoy said that I'm speaking facts as always. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I'm still at the point where it's innocent until proven guilty, and it's the same mindset as a lot of other things for me. Here I will say is, and I'm not saying she's guilty or it's innocent until proven
Same
guilty,
here.
but I will say the timing is convenient.
So here's the thing about the convenient timing thing. It's the tweet she put out. It wasn't that she had a world title match. It's, hey, why don't women support women? And then you have somebody like Chelsea Green who said, you've bullied me in this business. You're a piece of crap. Why would you say that? And then somebody else comes out and says, I literally watched you spit in somebody's face. And then somebody else comes out and says, hey, I was in the locker room where you picked a fight with somebody. And then somebody corroborates that story by saying, hey, I broke up that fight. Who, by the way, is a friend of a friend. So I tend to believe that what comes out of his mouth.
Yeah, and it's like the Moolah situation. I'm be the first to say that it seems likely like this happened. But once again, innocent until proven guilty. But I'm also here the same thing, and I understand we're in a different age now, but I don't know where we're at specifically because now here's the problem. We have two social movements going against each other at this one. The racial slur is really what the crux of the issue is for the one fight. Yeah, it's also backstage locker room fighting and other things. But let's be real here. It's the racial slur that really is the major problem with this. But then there's also the idea of signifying a woman winning the Impact Championship. And because we don't know and we don't have it, we have these two social issues butting heads at each other. What was the right move? We may never know. I mean, TNA made the call. TNA obviously made their... Impact. Keep saying TNA.
We know what you're talking about.
Impact made their decision. They stood by Tessa, and that was what their choosing was. Now, the question is, in these situations, which way do you go? And as far as I see it, Impact was screwed one way or the other. If they changed plans for Tessa, they were going to get backlash. They were going to get heat for that. If they went ahead with it like they did, they were going to get heat for it. They're in a no-win situation. So you know what? I don't really put any blame on Impact.
No, I don't know either.
Because what are they going to do?
And look, here's the thing. This is where everybody was like, the timing is suspect. My thing is this. The timing, to me, isn't as suspect when you think of this. Over the past year, we've had women main event WrestleMania, main event multiple pay-per-views, wrestle the first ever match in Saudi Arabia. And what was the outcome of that? An outcry and outpouring of support from all the women in the industry for these women. Now Tessa is on the brink of winning the World Heavyweight Championship, which is a huge deal because she's now, and it's happened, she's now the first woman to ever win a major male heavyweight championship in a major.
Yeah, I was going to
company.
say easy with the word major. I get your point, but
fair enough.
It is still
Impact.
Impact.
It's still Impact, but it's still a big deal. And you would think
it is still a big deal.
And you would think that women in general would want to support the fact that they could have a woman, someone like themselves, win a championship in a male-dominated industry like that. You would think that they would want to support each other, but because Tessa has this much heat, damn, they're not even going as far as saying, hey, we're all women, let's stick together. It's more of, dude, get the hell out of here.
And Tessa is the right for, let's pretend like she definitely didn't say what she said if it happened, but let's put that aside for now. If there was any woman just based on career alone trajectory, it would be Tessa. Yuri says, no one has been more racist on TV than Vince through his booking. I understand where you're coming from with that. Winter Soldier says, hey, Albert, you look good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I have lost a little bit of weight.
I was going to say, is there something wrong with the camera?
And the beard finally, I trimmed it up and it looks better now.
Also, AEW, in my opinion, needs more size.
Well, I heard Brian Cage just signed, so that's a huge deal. That's size right there, and he's a
bigger
freak
issue
athlete.
to me is guess who didn't sign yet again? Marty Scurll again.
So this is another major thing in the wrestling industry. Marty Scurll again signs at least a multi-year contract with Ring of Honor. He's on the booking committee now. He said he wants to, fix the relationship between Ring of Honor and AEW, but at this point, why?
I'll put it this way.
You know?
Warhawk says Impact or Ring of Honor is bigger. Which one is bigger? That's a tough call. I mean, I don't know.
I think Impact is getting more buzz, but yeah, it is. It really is a coin flip.
I mean, yeah, because you could convince me. By the way, well, what do you guys think? Impact or Ring of Honor? Let us know what you think. See, I think right now it's, and it's not like I didn't do a video about it a couple of weeks back talking about what employees really want. For you sticklers out there who think it's just money, clearly it's not, because these other companies, and I understand these are isolated incidences, but we're still beginning to show that you can prove, you can combat WWE, AEW, and even New Japan money if you really want to by offering other components.
Right.
Booking power, or being the first woman to win a championship. These things seem to be keeping people where you want them to be. You may not be able to compete with the money, so don't even try. It's the same thing. It was a Paul Heyman principle. The employees at ECW felt trusted. They felt like they had control. They felt like they were part of the product more so than anything else, and that's what gravitated them to stay loyal to ECW for a long period of time. And it's the same thing with these companies. And it's really, and I've said it in that video, it's really what it comes down to. People really got to realize that money doesn't solve all problems.
It's true. Mr. J Jr., I just want to throw this out. He's your top 5 crushes in wrestling. I'll do Dave's right now. Alexa Bliss, Alexa Bliss, Alexa Bliss, Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan.
Are we talking all time or recently? If it's recently, yes. All time. Sunny has a place in there just because she was like,
yeah.
That first, like, when I, start noticing, women, I was like, man, she makes my underwear tighter, and I don't know why. I mean, and I'll be the first to admit that, is, very attractive, but, not on the same level as Alexa Bliss in any capacity. Alexa Bliss has her own category, and Liv Morgan as well.
I mean, if we're talking current, I guess.
Peyton Royce definitely up there, too.
Peyton Royce is up there for me.
Emma. Not for nothing, Becky Lynch.
Yeah, no, I mean, Becky makes my list, too. Alexa, obviously, because it's very hard. And Toni Storm, man.
But see,
thank you, AJ.
There's a lot.
Toni Storm.
There's a lot. Like Deanna Purrazzo. I'm a big Brandy Rhodes fan. I've mentioned that repeatedly.
How could you not be?
Right. Like it's like I can name a bunch of people, but if you tell me 5, oh crap.
Yeah, it's very hard. It's very hard to give me like I mean, I have my favorites. Yeah,
I mean, it's Alexa Bliss, clear as day for me, number 1, and then Liv Morgan, number 2. If we had social media in the 90s, we would have.
Here's the thing.
Right.
Yuri,
look, I mean, that's a big part of it, but also, if social media was the thing, we would hear a lot about this. I don't think, would we hear about it? Sure, but I don't think it would be like it is now. You got to remember this social, anxiety or this political correctness demanding is a relatively new phenomenon. All right, in the past 5 years, we've pretended 10 years ago people didn't talk a certain way, and I'm not saying it's right, but all you got to do is watch TV shows and movies. Look at the Chappelle Show. That show is loaded with language you can't use today.
Absolutely.
But then we're gonna air people out. Hey, they said it on social media. You realize that and I understand that was a television program, but if you don't think that's reflective of how some people talked, then that's problematic, because it definitely was reflective of how some people talk. Look at The Hangover, how the guys talked in The Hangover using certain words.
Yep.
If we look at, and this is just 10 years ago, if you take that context and realize it is reflective of how some people, I'm not saying everyone, but some people talked back then you realize that we shouldn't be jumping down everybody's throats for things they've said 10 years ago. But if the same thing, social media, existed in the 90s, it wouldn't have been the same thing because people were not nearly as sensitive to that kind of thing. Well, that's very nice that Billy Kay and Payne Royce wish your mom a happy birthday. And you know what? I'm going to wish your mom a happy birthday, too.
Yes, happy birthday to your mom, Harry.
Base up, Toni Storm. Okay.
It's time for the Albert World Order. I completely agree, Richard Lee.
Right.
Here's the thing. To build off of what you were saying.
Oh, Beulah, yes, Mr. J. Beulah.
Oh yeah, Beulah
was a huge. Was like a huge one for me.
So my 2 cents on that situation is this: social media. So wrestling was so hot in the 90s that I don't know if social media would have negatively impacted a lot of this. Yeah, AJ,
yeah, you're right. That's exactly how I feel about the same thing. People really aren't that sensitive. It's just what they portray on social media because people want to make themselves feel like they're a good person, and they outwardly want to say, I'm okay with this, I'm not okay with this,
And
I'm a good person.
that's
That's really what people want to say.
Where I get mad because I got accused of like
Yes, I do, AJ on point.
I got accused of white knighting because of the whole because I made a comment on something on Facebook about the whole Tessa situation, and there were and now the thing is this this wasn't me trying to be a white knight or trying to defend anybody. I work with people who have been physically and victims of domestic violence and sexually assaulted. That's my job, my 9 to 5. I don't like when people
job.
Right. I don't like when people sit there and say, "How come it took X amount of time to say this?" It is never okay to tell somebody when it's okay or not to tell their story. That's first of all. Second of all, it's also not okay to sit there and say, "Oh, well, of course they're bringing this up now at the at this juncture." No, look, you have to understand where these people were. 3 years ago, Chelsea Green had no idea where her career was going to be. She's not signed to a major company. This other girl who was the victim of this, I don't even know who she is. She's working on the independent scene somewhere. Allison, who made some comments, didn't really have much of a career at that point either. They were facing the idea of not getting bookings because, hey, we have Tessa booked on all these shows. You have heat with her. We're not going to book you. That's a hard thing to come by to say, hey, yeah, I can point out that she bullied me 3 years ago, but then 6 companies wouldn't hire me. I don't have a job anymore.
Well, okay, Winter Soldier, don't worry. We'll try to get your point in a minute. I understand that you want to bring it up, but we're definitely not done with this Tessa thing. It's still going off. Harry Flynn, thank you for pointing out the typo. Yes, I forgot the W with. Sorry. Yeah, but don't worry, we'll get to that. Look, the Tessa thing is going now. This is a very prevalent issue of today's day and age. And when it comes to not speaking up and speaking out, here's the question I have. If they didn't speak up 3 years ago because they were worried about job security, I question the mentality only because Tessa Blanchard is bigger now than she was then.
But she had a lot bigger of a name than the people we're talking about.
But I'm saying I don't know how much better this is going to help your career if you talk now. Well, I don't think that waiting 3 years improved your odds.
Well, here's the thing.
I don't think that secured your career anymore. I think if anything, it made it's a worse time.
Allison is signed to a company right now.
Right now,
Big Swole is signed to a company right now. Chelsea Green is signed to a company right now. So now them coming out and saying this now doesn't negatively affect their career. They're already contracted. Right now.
But when their contracts are up, and look,
sure,
I will be the first to say that business is different than it used to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like years ago, it would have been, oh, this person rocks the boat. That's how they're. This is an in-house situation. This is a locker room problem. This really is a case for wrestler court. And if you're gonna mouth off like that in public, then yeah. If this was 10, 20 years ago, you don't work no more for coming out with this stuff. That's what I would say. So do they have more odds? Is the locker room different now? Yes. But I'm just saying there are still those people who don't like hiring those who are seen as rocking the boat or whatever.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying that there are some people who don't like hiring people who take a lot of issues public. Is what I'm saying.
And that's the thing. That was their fear. I mean, it's a valid thing. Is this whole situation of them piling on after this valid either? I mean, look, I don't know the situation, and hey. This happened 3 years ago. Maybe Tessa's grown as a human being since then. But we do know that WWE didn't sign her in 2018 after the Mae Young Classic because of issues like this, because she had attitude issues.
There's a huge difference between attitude issues and
racist,
and racist remarks.
But
one does not beget the other necessarily.
So the thing is that
Chelsea Green can be an easy to work with racist,
sure,
and you can be hard to work with and not racist.
But Chelsea Green is I'm sorry. I just read that question. I'll get there in a second.
Yeah, the Morgan channel is more of a comic book thing.
Well, no, the Mr. J thing. I just saw my name and I just like. Do you think Mankind would fit in with Raven's Nest more than Cactus Shack? No, Cactus Shack would definitely. But here's the thing. My thing is that so it wasn't even just the racist remark. Chelsea Green's who's the first one to react, was just strictly her being bullied backstage and being, saying that, Tessa wouldn't help, wasn't being fair to her, was mistreating other talent and stuff like that. So that was even before anything being racist. So she has this reputation. And that reputation seems to follow her wherever she went. She didn't get signed with WWE. She didn't go to AEW when everybody thought she was going to go to AEW. Now, we know that maybe that has nothing to do with it.
Right. I was going to say,
that might not have anything. We know that, look, Impact made a play for her. Obviously, they had a big spot for her. Look where she is now. Let's not take anything away from Tessa Blanchard, the athlete, and Tessa Blanchard, the in-ring competitor. She made history.
Yes.
No matter what you say, she made history. And from an athlete and a female wrestling standpoint, she's the right choice.
Yuri, that's another point to bring up. To answer the question about the hue, just trying something different lighting effects. That's the thing that I talk about too. There are other examples, like if we really want to attack our celebrities for racism and all that stuff, there are plenty of other promos out there. Greg Hammer, Greg Valentine's is a tough one to watch. I mean, even remembering that the times are different and all that.
Even still,
that's hard to watch.
Yeah.
But I've brought this case up repeatedly. Mark Wahlberg, Marky Mark, attacked people because specifically, physically attacked, and I don't mean verbally, I don't mean this bullying stuff. I mean physically attacked people just because they were different. He attacked someone just because they were Asian, and he attacked someone just because they were black. No other motivation than they were just different races, and intentionally attacked them physically for that. And you know what happened? People still watch Entourage. They still watch, whatever the stupid thing he's doing. And no one's like screaming their head off going, yeah, I'm Mark Wahlberg. Say hi to your mother for me. I'm in Transformers. I produce Entourage. And no one's complaining about Mark Wahlberg. So if you have an issue with Tessa being mean, or if you have an issue with what Hulk Hogan said on a sex tape, you better have a problem with Marky Mark first and foremost. Public enemy number one for you should be Marky Mark.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Chavo Guerrero Jr.? Chavo Guerrero?
What?
Hold on. I'm Googling right now.
Ugh.
I hope not. I really
hope not. Well, I don't think they would lie about that kind of thing. That's terrible to hear. And John Stallman, Oh, AJ Envoy. What? Oh, okay. AJ Envoy saying it did not happen. It's not true.
I'm not.
Don't say stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see anything.
I mean, hopefully it's not true. I mean, hopefully there was just a mistake or something like that. Hopefully
I hope so. True. I really, really hope so. I don't see anything.
What did Chelsea Green say to her husband with Zack Ryder action figure? That's a good one, Richard Lee.
I know Chavo Guerrero Sr. died, but I mean, that was 2017.
Morg actually was in jail for his crimes. Not the point! Not the point! If you're saying that someone shouldn't have a career anymore.
Exactly.
My point is, that is way worse than anything someone could say. Okay?
Yeah, I don't see anything about that. Please, Lord, I hope that's something that's.
Or when Triple
totally
H did
wrong.
a weird promo. Yeah, I mean, but see, people excuse Vince McMahon and Triple H for their on-air work because they say it's on air, so it's okay. But what about Doc Hendricks?
Right. Yeah.
Whatever you want to call him. Michael Hayes, whatever you want to call him. He said stuff backstage. There's been plenty of people to do it. The question is, Dick Murdoch.
Chavo Sr. passed in 2017.
Dick Murdoch was allegedly a card-carrying member of the Klan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's one of those things that's true, but I just say allegedly because I'm not 100% sure because I've never really looked into it. I've just heard it secondhand. Hogan was different. Was different though. It's all
was
different.
it?
It's all different.
Was it? I mean, how different is it? It was
Tessa's is worse.
Way worse because she did it. She spit in somebody's face and said it to her face.
That's why because Tessa's is worse.
And here's the thing: a lot of people also came with
if she did it.
A lot of people coming back and saying, "Oh, how can you, I love how they're calling her a racist, but isn't she engaged to someone who is Mexican and what didn't she date Ricochet?" Just because you sleep with somebody doesn't mean that you're not a racist. It doesn't make a difference of what color of a person you actively sleep with. Convos. So was Tessa. She was speaking in private too. That wasn't meant to be on air where she used that language either.
Yeah.
Ricochet is not Mexican. Ricochet is, I believe, half black, but she's engaged to Daga.
Yeah, well.
So I mean, look, and that's the thing.
I don't know if you guys are saying it's better or worse that Hogan was recorded without his knowing. I don't know if that's better. Or
I
worse.
guess it's better because he said it behind closed doors and didn't know that was going to leak out. But regardless of that fact,
I will also say that Tessa, and while some people and even I do talk about how there is, almost a statute of limitations for social, just because of how different things were. Tessa did do it within a no better time period. In the recent couple of years, you definitely should know better. No, that it was just a rumor. Okay, yeah, it might just be a rumor. The Dick Murdoch thing. Like I said, I have no confirmation of it, but I know a lot of people who say that's definitely true. And I don't really understand the inner workings of the clan anyway.
Well, look, that's the thing I was talking about before, Combos. I don't know if you were in here. What's it called? Regardless, degenerate. It means no matter what. There's. All right, let me make my first thing first. Combos. The reason why I said was. These women who 3 years ago didn't have a stable place to work were still trying to find their footing in this business, and now that they're a bit more successful, bringing this stuff up now it's also happened because she made the comment. She sent out a tweet saying, "Hey, women, we should support each other." And this whole thing didn't even have to do with anything with race, with the whole thing with Chelsea Green. She just said, "Hey, you never supported me or anybody else that I know," and then bam, more stuff came out.
Yeah, but does that? Look, but does that mean you're necessarily bringing it upon yourself? I won't go that far.
A little bit.
They're very as you point out, they're very unrelated issues.
Sure, but by that same point,
here's the question. Well, here's essentially the question: if you have used racist language in the past, does that mean for the rest of your life you are no longer eligible for support?
No.
So that's really what it comes down to.
Absolutely not.
So hence why they're unrelated. That's why it's like...
And it's the same thing as anything else. People make mistakes. People do make mistakes. I'm not saying... And that's... A lot of people are saying no, apparently. But that's the thing. See, that's
no,
wrong.
you don't. No, wait. Are they saying no?
Oh, okay. People can redeem themselves. All right, that's fair.
Right. I don't know how they mean that. Do you mean no, they don't deserve support? Or are you saying no, they do support? Clarify the no.
Yeah. Here's the thing. People make mistakes. People say things in the heat of a moment. People look. I went to a
Yuri,
school.
I like that you brought up the witch hunt because I do feel that is where we're at today. I do.
I think everything turns into one.
Yeah.
But look, I went to a school that
Harry has never made a mistake. That is true.
I do. Well, yeah. Okay, we'll leave it at that. I do think that there's a lot of people here that there's a lot of things that can be said about somebody said something in the heat of the moment. I went to a college where the big thing was to redeem offenders, people who were in jail who get out and now what do? They made a mistake, they paid their debts to the society, and now what? Now people aren't going to hire them because of the mistake they made 10 years later. We forget things like Mark Wahlberg. How about Tim Allen, who got arrested for selling cocaine?
Yeah.
And became a leading man in
Disney movies.
Right, exactly. These are, things can be forgiven. It's very hard to be forgiven for something that outward where, she spat. Look, my thing is this. The racist remark is bad.
Yeah, I think the spitting
But the spitting in her face is almost even worse.
Yeah, I think that bothers me more.
You're now degrading a human being on more than just, the color of their skin.
What up, Mark Strike?
Robert Downey Jr., there you go, went to jail. Paid his debt to society. Now he's Iron Man.
The biggest egregious problem of all time for Robert Downey Jr. is he was on Saturday Night Live. Ick.
He also was in that Talking Dog movie.
Yeah. Not that I wouldn't go on Saturday Night Live if they wanted to hire me tomorrow. So
yeah, exactly. That's why
I
don't know if I do the Talking Dog movie.
I've never been a big SNL fan. I think it had potential, but it never. Yeah, and anyway, but listen, let's at least move on, at least for a little bit, and let's go with Winter Soldier. He has brought up the size thing for a long time. It was like trying to sell airplanes at. I think the analogy is funny, but yeah. Go ahead,
AEW, in my opinion, needs more size, like trying to sell airplanes at car insurance. No offense, but some look like high schoolers and not pro athletes.
Yeah, he's been trying to bring up this point for a while,
and he's right. And he's right. Look, here's the thing. And this is the thing
I'm going to refill water, get your throat
Sure.
up.
This is the thing that I don't like about AEW. I don't like the idea that, I do like that everybody's got an opportunity, but they are pushing guys or they are, focusing on guys who I think I can beat up in a fight. And that's not something I want to see in my professional wrestling. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see, oh my God, why can't I think of it? Brandon Cutler is the most unimpressive looking human being on the planet. He looks like a guy that I went to high school with that became a professional wrestler.
They have giants too. They also have huge guys like Marco Stunt.
You're right.
Riho is huge.
Yes, she's gigantic.
Here's why I disagree with this. Look, I have agreed. Now I know I've gotten this conversation before. We've talked about this before on a live stream. Yeah, I do think that there is a size a size for being a wrestler that is important to a degree, but it depends on context. As I've said before, it's AEW is directly competing now with NXT. That's really what it is. And like Adam Cole would never be a top champion in Raw or SmackDown. He can only exist there in NXT. The point is, if we're trying to go after these big heavyweight guys, WWE's got that on lock. NWA is also making a pretty solid play for it with Eli Drake cutting promos saying that, look, all he sees is little boys with, I hate to use, well, I don't hate to use the term. I don't mind the term, but I know some people hate this term, but vanilla midgets.
I don't care.
I don't mind it. The reason why I don't mind it is because I'm the size of the people that people criticize. They're like, oh, this dude is like 5'9". I'm like, well, I guess I'm okay. I think that's why it doesn't bother me, because I feel like I'm allowed to say it because I fit in the size.
You're in that category.
Right. But anyway, the point of the matter is, those doesn't even weigh 200 pounds. Like, that's exactly where I'm at. And I will admit, it weirds me out when I'm like, wow, that guy's my height and weight?
Yeah,
that don't seem right. No, that means I could get into this business.
No, and what gets me mad is that I'm 6'1", 220. Actually, the last time I weighed myself, I was 229. I'm 6'1", 229. I am bigger than I want to say.
Finn Balor,
but
Adam Cole,
I would say almost the majority of the AEW roster. But I'm bigger than both of the Bucks. I'm definitely. I'm taller than MJF. I weigh more than probably Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy combined. And that's the thing. I am not a professional wrestler. And I'm bigger than most of these guys. And there isn't a cruiserweight division because everybody's on that same plane. So it bothers me to see that there could be a guy like Marco Stunt wrestling a guy like Chris Jericho.
Marco Stunt doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not but
then again, Rey Mysterio didn't make a lot of sense to a lot of people either, and he wound up pulling it off.
But here's my thing: is that for me,
Vinny Montana didn't say everybody. I'm not bigger than Moxley. Yes, you're right. Obviously I'm not bigger than Luchasaurus either. I'm saying a predominant amount of their wrestlers.
But for me, it's like I agree about the size.
I don't think we're size Nazis based up. I like my wrestlers to look a certain way.
No, look, I point out that and I'm not one of those AEW supporter guys. I've admitted that they've done a lot of the flaws since their debut. I've had a lot of problems with the product. I am stunned at how they blew away NXT in the ratings, by the way, this past week.
Yeah, I know.
Mind blown. Anyway, but my major issues with this is, while yes, I agree there should be a certain size requirement, I think it's in context in the promotion itself. Not even just with size, but like comedy. Chikara can get away with doing things that you can't do.
That WWE can't do.
Ever,
that AEW can't do.
Ever.
The fake grenade. Just there, right there. That's it. If that was ever in a WWE ring, people would lose their effing minds.
There are some people who don't think it belongs in Chikara either. There are some people who just don't think it belongs in wrestling, period. But either way, my point is...
But Chikara is built upon that.
Yeah, in context, it makes a little more sense.
Yes, Warhawk Rambo, you're right. Jake, you've been making this point. Yes, Jake Hagar and Wardlow are not little. Neither is Brian Cage. I'm not saying everybody. I said the majority of the roster.
Reeled you in, buddy. He got you.
No, I
got you.
I hate...
I know. He got you.
No, he didn't get me.
He's been poking you to get you, and you fell for it. But anyway, but in a company like AEW, I think that they have a smaller size. That this is the only realm where you could buy Cody Rhodes as a world champion, is for my money. Or this is a place where you understand.
Not the only. I mean, he could be a world champion.
In Impact,
fine. Or even NXT.
Or Ring of Honor.
He was a Ring of Honor heavyweight champion.
NXT is not a world championship.
It counts.
But anyway, regardless. But you get my point.
It's been defended overseas.
Anyway, okay.
It's a world champion. Finn Balor won it in Japan. It's a world championship.
All right. Cody Rhodes can't win.
It's not a heavyweight championship.
Cody Rhodes couldn't. I couldn't see him winning. Well, anyway, forget it. You know what? Just my point of the matter is, AEW exists for what it is, and in that context, their size is fine. But even beyond this, from a business point of view, what are they going to do? The top big heavyweight dudes out there are all snatched up. They could grasp at straws trying to collect the best of who's out there who isn't signed to anywhere else and try to really push their product upon those 2-3 guys. Or they could say, screw it, we'll be the smaller company, size-wise, and we'll run with it. So I think business-wise, it just makes more sense. Work more with the context that they got. Do they want an entire roster where the only people they're going to push are Omega, who's pushing it, Dean Ambrose, who's also pushing it, and Chris Jericho, who's also pushing it? Do they want their main event scene to be just those 3 guys, and everybody else will not contend for a championship because they don't have a mid-card belt? Like, what makes more sense to you?
So I'm okay with the fact that those... Look, and that's the thing. Finn Balor's my favorite wrestler. I think he should be heavyweight champion. He's 197 pounds. I'm not...
A good day.
I'm not saying that that they shouldn't be there. If you are able to draw, if you're able to portray yourself as a main eventer, if you're believable enough to beat the people that you're wrestling, I'm okay with it. Rey Mysterio's heavyweight champion it bothered me a little bit, but it didn't bother me that much. Eddie Guerrero was cruiserweight champion in WCW. Chris Jericho was a cruiserweight champion in WCW.
They both gained weight after.
Sure they did. But my point is that, and even still, you just put Moxley.
MJF. Okay, yeah, no, you're right.
Right, you put
Moxley.
You put Moxley, Jericho, and who was the third person you named? You said Moxley, Jericho, and Omega. They're not big guys either.
No, that's what I said. They're pushing it.
Bigger
guys.
They're
pushing it.
But and then that's the thing. I'm not mad at the fact that AEW is pushing these guys because if they draw, then fine. My thing is that I want some differentiation in the programming, and that's why I like the fact that they signed Brian Cage. I like that they have Wardlow. I like that they have Jake Hagar. I like that they have bigger guys, Luchasaurus. Because if not, everybody looks the same. And now all of a sudden I'm going to be looking at this TV screen, and if I'm not I don't follow AEW or the independent scene as much as a lot of you guys do. There's some times where I'm just like, who's that guy again?
And
it's
Ben. NXT doesn't. First of all, they don't call it the NXT World Championship. We'll start there. They call it the NXT Championship. They never called it the World Championship. So we'll start there. And then I know the easy argument is, well, they don't call the Universal title a World Championship. They just call it the Universal title. Guess what? I don't count the Universal title either. All right? How's that? So before you even get through all that, I don't count there. To me, look.
Good call, Harry Flynn. Harper might go over there. That's a big draw for them.
Well, to go back to the thing, some people were asking about Matt Hardy leading the Dark Order as a way. First of all, the broken gimmick works better as a babyface thing. And if you want to talk about acts, I know you love talking about this, outside WWX that keeps getting pushed despite not being over, Dark Order is it. Okay? But I've said this before, if we had to take
don't get me wrong, I like the idea.
I like the idea too.
Like
they picked the wrong. Super Smash Brothers were not the guys to give this gimmick to.
I agree. And I like them both.
But
I like them both. Don't get me wrong. I do. They're
gimmick.
not. They were really good as hokey. Gimmicky tag teams.
If they waited and gave this gimmick to the Ascension.
Oh yeah,
that's the answer.
I'm buying it.
And I've also said this. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I would personally like that this mysterious leader be Brody Lee. I would love it if Luke Harper takes the reins and saying, like, the real cult leader of the Wyatt family, the real brains behind our operation was always Brody Lee. Without saying it, I would like it if they give Luke Harper this position. I think he's probably the best suited for it. I would prefer that to Broken Matt Hardy.
And here's the other thing. I'm also tired of everybody, getting really PO'd at...
Yes, Harper is Brody Lee.
At TNA for... no, Ben Espinosa, the Ascension were fired by WWE about a month and a half, 2 months ago. I'm really tired of this whole thing where it's like, oh man, the WWE is just really... Oh, Dustin Rhodes. Yes, he is a bigger guy. I give you that too.
Yes. He's towards the end of the career. That's why we kind of don't think of him first.
But this is the perfect example, which leads into this. I can't, TNA, they're pushing all ex-WWE stars. Oh my God, Ring of Honor, they just pushed a whole bunch of ex-WWE stars. And now here we go. AEW starts, and all of a sudden everybody's like, oh my God, they're treating Moxley like crap. He should go to AEW. Oh, they're treating Harper like crap. He should go to AEW. Oh, Matt Hardy's contract's almost up. He should be the leader of the Dark Order. So now, again, we have another company who's pushing WWE cast-offs. That's not what we need out of AEW.
The reality is,
Jericho's their heavyweight champion.
The reality is, any smart fan has been saying that they don't want to have TNA syndrome / WCW syndrome.
But yet, every time somebody gets released or is mistreated by WWE, they want them to go to AEW.
But we've known from the start that smart fans have been saying that. But I agree that the first instinct is everyone to say AEW. But for me, it's like Cesaro. You know, I'm a huge Cesaro fan. He's my favorite wrestler out there right now. And he's not being used well, in my opinion. And hasn't been.
He's not.
If they released him tomorrow, would I complain if he showed up on AEW? No. Would I complain if he showed up in AEW and they gave him the title? No. However, that's not where I want to see him. I would rather see him in NWA, but ideally New Japan.
Yes, thank you.
Ideally, that's not my number
And he
one.
is just so he's perfect for New Japan. He's everything.
Right, everything. Just don't put him in the Bullet Club. That's the only thing I don't want him to do. Even though that is what they'll probably do. Just don't stick him in the Bullet Club. Let him be solo. Let him have the run Kurt Angle was supposed to have. Don't bother saying Kurt Angle was IWGP champion. Not really. Okay, he was more for the he was really for the Inoki Genome Federation. He did wrestle with Nakamura, but I mean, if Angle was really treated the way Angle should have been and had a good run in New Japan, that's what I think we should be giving. It's
Richard Lee. Yes, 100%. Yes, the AEW needs to stop bringing up WWE. Stop reminding me that you're the second best wrestling company in the United States. Stop reminding me of that. I can watch Raw on Mondays. I can watch SmackDown on Thursdays. I can watch NXT at the same time as your show. Stop reminding me of it. Stop. There's no reason. Drew McIntyre just pinned AJ Styles clean. Good. I hope Drew McIntyre wins the Royal Rumble.
Good luck with that.
I said I hope. I didn't say it was going to happen. Don't you hope that Cesaro wins it? We can have dreams, Dave. We're not saying that they're going to come true.
No, WWE has convinced me to give up on those. Remember when an episode of Scooby-Doo reference... no.
I don't remember that at all.
I'm not the biggest Scooby-Doo guy. AEW is in second best or third, if that.
Well, WWE needs to stop going after AEW. When has WWE gone after AEW? Please, Convos, please just let me know that, because I don't understand what the hell that means.
Yes, I saw the Morbius trailer. It looks...
I thought it looked good.
Yeah, it looks good-ish.
I liked it. I enjoyed it. I'm sorry, did I not say that SmackDown was on Friday?
But I'm also not a vampire guy, so I'm only going to get so excited for it.
Fans think that if a wrestler goes to a smaller company, that wrestler will instantly become the company's top guy and live out all their booking fantasies. 100%.
No, yeah, we know that's
100%.
Why, but yeah, they shouldn't think that way.
And yes, Warhawk Rambo, Drew McIntyre is a top guy.
He has a chance, but I don't think it's likely. It's like Drew McIntyre is the guy that I think WWE knows they can stick him on any rumor for the dirt sheets, and people are going to believe it. I mean, if you really look back in history, you look back in the past couple of years, Drew McIntyre was a favorite to win the Royal Rumble last year. He was a favorite to win Money in the Bank. He was and I think Money in the Bank the year before. Like, he's perpetually a guy that when they say rumor has it backstage it's going to be Drew McIntyre, everyone nods their head. But no one notices that he never comes close. Yeah, look, Ben Evans knows a lot of times when you're the number 2 company, you bring up the number 1 company, which I think is a stupid practice. You shouldn't do it. But they've done it a lot. And when WWE became the number 2 company, magically they started talking about WCW more.
Right.
I'm not saying that WWE never brought up the competition when they were number 1. They have done it. But for the most part, it's usually the move of the second place person. You see it in commercials a lot. Like, Pepsi not so much anymore, but Pepsi used to bring up Coca-Cola all the time. Like, hey, we won the Pepsi Challenge. Coke never brought up Pepsi because they could care less. They're like, we're number 1. What do we care about your little piss water? You know, they never cared about it. It's not worth their time. And it's also a bad look when you're the number 1 and you're kicking the number 2. That's just also a bad optic.
Right. And here, even John Cena and Triple H said that the next guy for WWE is Velveteen Dream. Yeah, sure. Not yet. But sooner or later.
He's got to get off that DL first.
But Dave, legitimately, he has a real chance to win this year, or else Aleister Black doesn't have a chance to win at all. And Brock's not going to win. Arthur either.
By legitimate chance, then yeah. I mean, anybody.
Anybody. There's 30 number 1 contenders.
I have a legitimate chance to win the lottery whenever I play.
Right, exactly.
Like, if you haven't seen the writing on the wall, they've given you no indication that they're serious about pushing Drew. It might happen. It might happen out of left field, but they've given you no indication to really think they're serious about pushing Drew McIntyre on the main roster. They've given you no proof to it whatsoever.
This is the biggest push he's probably gotten right now, the past like couple of weeks where he's just beating people up and cutting promos and getting over.
Yeah, but
they've given personality
year.
at least.
He did that last year. First of all, I missed that thing where he was talking smack to people in the match.
Yeah.
Like when he started with Kurt Angle, like, your family should be ashamed
Oh,
of you.
I love that.
You're a disgrace. How do you wake up in the morning? Like, what? Like it just. I was like, man, like it's just one of those things.
Convos? No.
Convos,
wrestling fans are whining asses.
Yeah.
I don't care what you say. Wrestling fans
Look,
in general.
Yeah, everybody is. And like, look, I'm the first one who I can't stand the WWE fanboys who just blindly think that everything WWE does is right, no matter how much proof and math you throw at them to show them that this was a terrible business decision. I can't stand that, and I know plenty of them.
And I also... don't give me that. Don't
Sorry,
give me
I
that.
had a neck thing.
But on the flip side, I also
hate the the people who support, who think that everything that non-WWE companies do is right.
And everything WWE does is completely wrong.
It's just
when numbers dictate it the other way.
It's plain logic. I said this a little while ago on a past show. 2019 was a wrestling disappointment for me as a whole. Overall, most companies let me down.
Arthur just says the New Japan fanboy.
See. Yeah, and I don't defend New Japan blindly. I'm very much vocal about that.
And I admit when WWE is wrong. I don't defend them blindly.
You defend a lot of their stuff that is definitely wrong. Their celebrity obsession, definitely you defend, and that is mathematically incorrect.
I defended Mike Tyson, who everybody and their mother except for you.
And Ronda and Brock.
Ronda was. I still say Ronda was a good choice. It was a good idea.
The only reason why I let Ronda slide to a degree is because she didn't cost them that much.
That too.
1.5. Brock costs you $9 million, and you don't get a return. The toy belts replicas sales drop. Merch. Brock is a nightmare. Okay, and it's like Brock does not bring you in money.
Well,
Did Okada win something in this? Did he, Harry? I don't know. Wait a minute. I think it was the first time the IWGP Heavyweight Championship ever changed hands outside of Japan, and I was there live.
Go again.
You asked for that one. You asked for that one, Arthur. You had it coming. Thank you, Harry. Hey, Big Show needs to retire. I'm at the point. I've bell curved on it now. I'm like, screw it.
No, I think Big Show's in the best shape of his career. He's not there all the time. Why does he need to retire?
There was a period of time where I thought he did, but now I've just shot past. I'm like, I don't care. Just keep going now. No, let's just see how long you can do this for.
So my thing is this. Look, there are the people who will sit there and rag on WWE for doing some of the things they do, and then there are people who will rip apart segments like the Bobby Lashley and Lana wedding when it was the highest rated WWE segment in the past 3 months. Listen, you can talk negatively. You like numbers, right? You can talk negatively about something until numbers dictate that you're wrong.
But
highest rated segment on the show, highest rated segment on WWE YouTube.
But you're ignoring the weeks where it was one of the lowest rated segments. This angle has been going on for a while. There were plenty of times where it was a ratings vacuum. Yes.
And it came back around.
But the question is, do we take this? What do we take? That's what's interesting. I will be the first to admit this is an interesting situation because it was doing very well on you. It has done very well on YouTube. It has done but it also has done terrible in the ratings department. But it's also done very well in the ratings department. So we're sitting here at a very weird examination if we're going to look at the numbers for this. And the question is, where does it go? Now, personally, I'm just not a fan of the angle.
Right, and that's fine.
But there is enough mathematical evidence to suggest that maybe it shouldn't have gone to this point. Now, fine. It's YouTube ratings and it's weekly ratings. Very good.
Remember
that was
YouTube?
2 weeks ago. Last week, not so much.
Right, and look, last week was I think the beginning of the end of this thing. They're finally bringing back Rusev this week to have the match with Lashley, and it's finally, I think, after all this, the end game seems to be that this could be a good restart for Rusev. And I hope it is. I hope that this can be something that he can sustain.
Sure.
My other thing is this.
Another guy I would like him to go to NWA.
I think he's right where he needs to be.
The gimmick would be killer on NWA.
It was nice that you recreate your wedding to your ex-wife using Bobby Lana and company. And that's true. My best friend did come out of a cake and beat the crap out of me during my wedding. Imagine. That would be great.
Longest storyline for some time. It has been. It's
right,
a,
and
it
that's
is
the
a
thing.
Surprisingly long storyline.
They didn't. And here's the thing. I know you said that, like, hey, it's been surprising they stuck with it so long, but they did stick with it. And that's another big thing. We all talk about how they're like, oh, they just cut these things off. We never see the end. There's never long-term storytelling. You got that.
Mark Strike, I'd rather give the props to Albert. But anyway, this is not exactly a long story.
Yes!
It's not exactly a long-term story, okay? There's a difference between one that was planned out and conceived, beginning, middle, and end, with a character arc over a long period of time, versus one that you're extending because the numbers started justifying you drag it out.
I don't know if that's the case.
Yes, it absolutely is the case, and because the difference, and you want to hear, we'll go into the comic book world, we'll bring up comic books for a change. A major indication of that, the Clone Saga for Spider-Man. That was something that was supposed to be a quick arc, but because people kept buying it because they were sick and tired of it and hoping it'd go away, they dragged it out, and Ben Reilly became more of a thing than ever. And as we can see, yes, it was financially successful, but it was damaging overall and a stupid idea. Well,
we'll see how damaging this is. I don't think they damaged anything. If they're getting the highest ratings in 3 months, I don't think they did a lot of damage.
They didn't maintain it. That's the difference. And plus, again, let's remember the other periods of time where it was not necessarily the biggest rating. Now, I'm not trying to say that Angle necessarily needs to go away. I mean, I don't want it to. If I was in charge of it, I'd get rid of it. But I will understand that there is a certain amount of money-making procedures there. But again, let's not pretend like this is bringing in over $3 million, because it isn't.
Sure, it's not.
It's not doing great. There are other angles and other resources.
It's doing better than everything else, though.
The Alexa Bliss topless segment, for example, was also something. So should we get more of that?
Yes.
I mean,
are you going to tell me? You're going to tell me you don't want to see that?
I'm not saying I don't want to see. Well,
thank you.
Well, it's also, it wasn't really. Yeah, she had her shirt. You didn't see anything, is my point. So like,
right.
I mean, not 12. It was like I don't care about that angle that much.
Regardless,
I can pretend like I didn't see it. But the point of the matter is,
and you're not going to pretend like you didn't watch it on YouTube again.
Yeah, I know,
exactly.
So,
look, here's my thing. The other thing and look, you're going to take heavy offense to this.
Of course.
So just get ready. I'm sick and tired of this whole internet push that everybody got mad about Liv Morgan and her debut during that whole angle. And it's not even that I care about that. It's these people who are out there going, why would they saddle Liv Morgan with this? She's way too talented to be put into this role. Can somebody please tell me one match, one promo, one thing that Liv Morgan has done that tells you that she is way too talented for anything? I know that you...
Steve says the same thing. Steve says the same thing, that he doesn't believe she has star potential.
She doesn't.
My answer is, first of all, she's gorgeous.
And that's fine.
And they have made stars off of less.
Fine.
So let's not pretend like you can't do something with it.
But even you,
and the answer to that is, sorry to bring up a Bella here, but the Bella kick to the face that she took like a champ and somehow didn't, and she's just so pretty that she can't be fazed by it. The point of the matter is she showed that she's tough. So you have a very pretty girl who has proven that she's willing to take a beating. If you don't think that that's something you can work with, then I'm sorry, you're wrong. Should she be Sister Abigail? Absolutely not.
And that's another big thing. Anybody who said that she should have been Sister Abigail is a moron, because it doesn't make any sense. She's been on television for months. Sister Abigail has been a character since before Liv Morgan made her debut on WWE television.
But so like I'll be the first to say they could do more with her. Like it's you've done more with less is my point.
They could do more with a lot of people, Dave. That's
everybody's problem. Everybody wishes we had a Paul Heyman type guy who found that if you gave him dedication, we'll turn you into a star. We'll find something to do with you.
But not everybody can be pushed at the same time.
No,
somebody needs to eat a pinfall every once in a while.
No, but that's not the point. The point of the matter is the women's division is they don't know how to push more than 3 people at the same time. They just for some reason can't figure this out, which I think is weird.
That's not entirely true.
Yeah, it is.
Not entirely.
They can push the one champion and then the other champion, and then maybe they'll find room for someone else. If someone else is Charlotte.
They did that whole thing with Lacey and Natty, the turn Lacey face.
Who got pushed?
Lacey did. She's obviously on SmackDown getting a women's title shot right now.
So that would be your third.
They're pushing Sasha and Bayley at the exact same time.
Bayley's the champ, which is exactly my point, and I don't think they're pushing Sasha.
She's on TV every week and
She's
getting
on
wins.
TV, but she's not getting pushed.
I mean, obviously, look, Charlotte, Becky, now Asuka.
Charlotte's not getting pushed. Charlotte's not. They're not doing anything with Charlotte right now. And Asuka, and believe me, Kyrie's saying those titles mean nothing. We all know that.
I'm talking about Asuka's getting a shot at the championship. Kyrie, I think, might still be dead.
Well, here's my other point.
Match.
Last year, she beat Becky, made her tap.
Yes.
And here we are.
A year later.
Trying to make it seem like we need her. She needs to do it again. It's like she's gone down.
Sure she has, but it's still a good story to tell that Becky could. This is the one woman that Becky hasn't beaten since she's become the man.
Becky is probably going to win this one.
She's definitely going to win.
Right.
Let's be honest
here. See, that's my issue. But that's my issue with it. So just because they're getting airtime or this tag team championship or whatever doesn't mean they're getting pushed, because we just look at the place they are in the.
They're still on TV. They're still champions. They're getting pushed more than they were, 6 months ago when they were doing nothing. Paige was their manager, and they were just
getting pushed more does not equal getting pushed. And besides, I'm still not.
Yeah, it does.
I'm not really. And I'm still not 100% with the Liv Morgan thing, because I was still not done with that one. Because what I wanted to say was, when we talk about the LGBTQ storyline, first of all, I think relationship storylines 90% of the time are a waste.
I have a lot to say about that thing, but go ahead.
There are a few exceptions. Macho and Liz, absolutely good, but most things aren't Macho and Liz. I mean,
yeah.
Relationship storylines, for the most part, I could care less about. Why are they sounding why are they putting with Liv? I don't need relationship storylines. I watch this because I want to see people fight. I don't want to see people fall in love. So
thank you, AJ Envoy.
What AJ Envoy? I wasn't talking about that. I'm just talking about Macho and Liz was a couple we believed in. Up until a certain point, Matt Hardy and Lita were too.
Yes.
Up until a certain point.
Yeah, well. Look, and here's the thing. I also got really mad about the whole idea of the. I can't believe that that they didn't that they put an LGBTQ storyline with two straight women when they have the first ever lesbian female superstar on SmackDown. I'm sorry. Is it more damaging to the LGBTQ community that every lesbian has a crush on their hot best friend, or that two random straight girls might actually be bisexual and we didn't know it?
And again, I don't need relationship storylines.
I get that,
at all.
But the thing is that everybody got mad because Sonya pitched that storyline and they said no to her and Mandy because.
What does NGL mean?
Not gonna lie.
Oh.
I don't think Sonya's overrated. I think Sonya's actually great. I think she's great in the ring. I think she can use a little bit more of a personality, but I think she's got just as much personality as Ronda did.
Yeah, Rollins and Lynch's relationship. And besides,
what about people fighting while they're falling in love with each other? Sounds pretty fun to watch. I like this. I hate you. I love you. Oh my God.
Did you ever hear the Rock and Austin story at Austin's last match?
What, when The Rock told him he loved him?
Yeah. That's what it makes me think of.
Yeah.
I know that's not what they meant, but I'm just saying that's what makes me think of it. Anyway, the whole point.
What about Lars? That he did something in his past life and
Still Beach.
I mean, it is what it is. I don't care. That doesn't offend me.
Relationship stories are kind of relatable. To who? The majority of wrestling fans are single. Come on. Let's be real here. Relatable.
He's 100% right.
Yeah. To what? The 5 wrestling fans who have girlfriends? One of them is here.
He's right. He's right. And that's the thing.
Yeah, it's like you and Steve and then like 3 other guys.
And that's the thing. You know, that's why I don't think these gimmicks get over, because like 75% of the wrestling audience doesn't know what it means to be in a relationship. So, you know, I mean, they can live.
All right, Monty Martinez, you're the 3rd.
Oh, that's true. Harry's dating Nikki Bella.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
No, but that's beyond girlfriend. That's its own
yeah,
thing.
it's true.
Well, yes, AJ Envoy, I am.
I tried. I really tried, guys. I tried to. I've been hitting up Alexa, but she said she just wants to be single for right now.
Yeah. It's just not what I watch. I mean, let's put it this way. Like, I don't watch. Like, do they bring up New Japan? I know, or not to set Arthur Pryor's anger button off, but yeah, New Japan. Think about it. Do they really have a lot of relationship storylines? NWA Power right now, like the Camille Nick Aldis thing, they're together, but I wouldn't call it a relationship storyline. But if you want to count it, fine. But still, that's just one. My point is, most wrestling companies really don't bring it up all that much, and that's what I prefer. It's like it just seems unnecessary for me, especially because there's a huge problem with a lack of payoff. Because 9 times out of 10, it's going to go a predictable route.
Right, and let's think of it this way. I mean, AEW, to give them credit, Brandy and Cody are two completely different characters.
Nasty Nate, that's not the same as having a relationship.
That's
Not to put you on blast right now, in case your girl's with you, but how do we define this relationship, huh? Who am I kidding? And we talked about this on Friday. Who am I kidding? It's just female. It's not like she watches the show. We're talking about like, hey, do you remember Jenna? Do you remember Amy? Do you remember all the girls who used to be here? That's right. They just go away anyhow.
It's true. It's true. Is there anyone without a penis in between their legs in this chat?
Yeah, it's a good question.
I don't think so.
I mean, I love NWA women. Yeah, no, they're good. I'm not taking away from the women. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be women involved. I'm just saying relationship storylines. Seth Rollins and Becky, as far as I'm concerned, the Seth and Becky thing kind of was step one in the decline of Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, because no one cared at all.
Yeah.
Nick and Camille aren't together. No, I mean they're an act of two people. I'm not saying together. I mean they're an act where you see them together is what I'm trying to say.
Right, and that's the thing. Like I'm totally okay with
Brandy is so much better than Stephanie McMahon. It's not even close.
But I'm totally okay with the idea of having a valet. That's fine. Like what Zelina Vega is to Andrade is great. She adds so much to Andrade's character. That's fine. But they don't mention they are business associates. There's not a relationship between the two of them. It's never mentioned that there's ever been a relationship between the two of them.
And even if there is, I'm talking about a storyline revolving around it. That's my issue with it. I don't care if two people are together and they're shown on screen. I don't care if they acknowledge real life couples. I'm talking about when there's a storyline built around it. Because 9 times out of 10, it's going to go unpredictable. It's going to go in unpredictable. It's going to go into one of like three possible scenarios. That's really what it comes down to. And all 3 of those scenarios are boring. No matter what you do with it. If you swerve it, it's still boring.
Right.
Like Matt Hardy, Lita, and Edge thing. This is the way this goes down. Matt Hardy either gets vindicated and gets revenge on Edge, or, surprise, Edge beats Matt Hardy, which is what happened when they first went down. It's unsatisfying no matter which way you do it, and it's not all that compelling. And it's not like, now it's different, but I don't think it'd be okay even now. But it's not like you're going to see Matt get to fight Lita, and I don't think you should.
Yeah, exactly.
Nowadays it would be something, but it's going to go down in predictable fashion, and it's like, who cares about this? Now, yeah, I understand that every match, either this guy's going to win, or that guy's going to win, or no one's going to win, but the difference is there's different options in where the storyline goes. The Fiend, right now, very popular. Look, we believe he's probably going to beat Daniel Bryan, but the thing is, we don't know what is happening ever.
Right.
When Rabbit brought up the possible weakness for the Fiend, this was new information. We didn't know he was going to. This idea of a weakness is going to be teased on SmackDown. We didn't know.
And we didn't know that he had a weakness at all.
Right, and he still might not.
Right.
The point is, we don't know. There's many variables on this. But the guy-girl relationship thing, I'm not saying it's impossible to reinvent the wheel and come up with something new, because you probably can. That's what creativity is all about. But most of the time, it's not executed like that. It's mostly the same thing. This guy's jealous over that guy, this guy, because of this girl, and that's really all the storylines are. It's the same variation over and over and over again. And that's my ultimate issue with it. It's boring, and it's also not what I come to watch wrestling for either.
I mean, fair enough.
Look. Convo, it's the same thing. Like, it was boring because, there was really nothing you're going to do about it. It seemed to make sense, but, the ultimate surprise, now, I don't think this actually should have happened, but what would have made sense from a writing story arc perspective and would have been interesting from a writing arc alone. Not saying I would have this, but Edge. Thank you so much for the super chat, V. You're a man. Hope all is well, my friend. Hope to work with you again soon. Hey, V, my man. Yeah, and hope to work with you again soon. Yeah, hit me up. Let's definitely do that. Thank you, V, so much. But yes, talking about the Matt, Lita, and Edge from a storyline perspective, and this also comes into play where sometimes what works well on paper storyline-wise doesn't add up in real life. But one thing that would have made sense is Matt Hardy loses to Edge. Edge beats the crap out of him, takes his girl, and beats him up in a fight. But then they're done. Edge beats Edge gets the championship, beats John Cena. Matt Hardy wins the Royal Rumble, and they go at it again. And then Matt Hardy gets to take the thing. You took something that meant something to me. I'm gonna take something what means something to you. Thematically, on paper, that works very well.
I agree.
Matt Hardy winning at WrestleMania, on the other hand, to me doesn't. So I wouldn't do that. But on paper,
I would have liked to have seen it.
I couldn't have pulled the trigger on that. But on paper, thematically, that works very well.
And here's the thing. That totally makes sense. Like, all right, so now let's just say in this...
Oh, what about Tessa and Stephanie? I'm sorry, I forgot that one. You're kidding, right?
So now, what happens if... all right, let's just say next week on Raw, Lashley beats Andrade for the U.S. title. Now he's married to Lana, and now Lashley faces him at WrestleMania for the U.S. title.
Wait, who?
Rusev wrestles Lashley for the U.S. title at WrestleMania. You said you wanted a logical conclusion to that storyline.
Lashley has it?
No, I'm just saying, let's say he beats Andrade next week.
Oh, okay.
Now, does that justify the end of your storyline? Now Rusev can say the same thing. Hey, you took my wife? Fine, keep her. I don't want her back, but I do want that title.
No, because the U.S. title is something he's had umpteen times already. The star just kind of lost from it. And they also, the major difference between Matt Hardy and Edge was, they still tussled a little bit, but in my version, they would have separated after the first fight because they had to stop that because Edge
beat the crap out of him. Yeah, which I thought was a horrible ending for that match.
It only works if Matt Hardy took the title off him at Mania. Then you could have justified it.
I mean, he got the win.
Again, I wouldn't have.
But then he didn't even win the feud because he lost the loser leaves Raw match at the ladder match. So,
but this is what I mean. So it's unsatisfying when the good guy doesn't win. But if they went the other way where the good guy did win, it's unsatisfying because it's boring. Because it's that's supposed to happen. So look, they would have to have a grandstanding separation between the two. Bobby and Rusev have gone at it over and over again for a long period of time. So the idea of having
they've only had one match though.
They have.
They have.
But the thing is, the hype for Matt Hardy getting fired, coming back, everything was there. One match.
I was there that day. That was one of the best nights.
Yeah. Matt Hardy comes back. Edge slaughters them. They don't touch again until Mania. That would have been the perfect way to sell this with two matches. Bobby and Lashley has just been going on week after week with the soap opera. They can't separate them by now and bring it back. It's too far gone.
Yeah, I agree.
Dave is a pain in the butt, but Albert is cool, V.
I appreciate that.
Coming from Arthur.
I appreciate that.
I saw Batman Worst Game. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, V, Social Injustice Warrior, my man here. Everybody check it out. Thanks for chatting. And have a good one, bro. Okay, well, thank you for stopping by, V. Thank you for the super chat. Seriously, thank you so much. And yes, totally. Let's work together again. Let me know. I bet they're gonna be a tag team. Well, that is what some people suggested. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Oh, so. But then again, the guy like the Miz, Seth. I also am surprised that they gave up on Miz's face turn quickly again.
I think that they did it for a reason.
Yeah, well, of course they did. Yeah, but still.
I'm fine with it. If the reason was that they turned Miz babyface, had this much foresight to realize, hey, we're going to need a babyface challenger for Bray Wyatt, and we can turn him right back. I just don't understand the idea of bringing Morrison back with all this hoopla and making him a heel.
I don't get it either. But
he shouldn't be a heel.
I feel that Miz... I swear that it's getting to a point where people are beginning to wonder if I have any leg to stand on this argument. But I do feel that Miz, as a major babyface, is untapped potential.
I agree.
I don't think they did him. The first time it failed, I don't think it's his fault. And some people say he can't be anything but a smarmy douche. And maybe that's true, but I don't think that his original babyface run failed because of him. 100%. I do think booking failed him.
Yeah, I think so too.
And recently, I think they did the same thing because he feuded against Shane, good, but then they never gave him anything after that. The closest thing they gave him as a babyface story run is saying, hey, Daniel Bryan, we're kind of friends now. And it's all he did was just sit there in the background saying, yeah, you were kind of friends now. I'm over.
And by the way, I got a world title shot out of nowhere.
Yeah, and Daniel Bryan was right. But they should have played it up a little bit more. Because the Miz easily, as a babyface, could have easily had a good run against a program with Corbin.
Yeah, sure.
Easily.
Yeah.
Because when they had their Survivor Series match, the Intercontinental and the U.S. Championship, Miz was skirting on being a face in that program right then and there.
They did.
He was cutting the better promos. He was getting more over. Miz also skirted with the Cena feud.
My other thing is this.
It's like if you give him the right target.
No, it's not even the right target. The Miz needs to just be the Miz. Just make him be the Miz towards
two heels.
Yes, to heels. That's it.
If Elias was healthy, I would be kind of interested. But to me, the layup is Corbin.
Yeah.
Corbin has a lot of heat. You just
Elias is a face now for some reason
Right.
again. I don't understand that either. But
Corbin has a lot of heat. If you just let the Miz be a douche to Corbin, it would have cemented him.
Absolutely.
It's like the easiest one that you could have given to him.
But here, this is the thing. Like, this goes back to what we complain about, with wrestling fans complaining about everything.
Shane, it was a treasure run, but again, I don't put that on him.
Like the whole idea of
Arthur, how could you say that? Harry Flint, go get him.
Oh boy. He did already. So anyway, my thing is this. Like wrestling fans do complain about everything. So now all of a sudden the Miz was a babyface, and I feel like all of a sudden when they were like, "Oh, hey, Miz is a babyface," everyone's like, we don't like him anymore.
No, see, I don't think that was it. I think they just fell flat on it. I don't think anyone's complaining about the Miz. I mean,
he doesn't get nearly the reaction.
No, he didn't because they weren't doing anything with him. But here's an interesting.
And here's the thing, Mark Strike. I don't like the Lacey Evans face turn.
It was a little fast.
Not only is it fast, she's also a better heel. She is annoying. Even as a babyface, she annoys me. Like the only thing that the saving grace for her whole storyline was that Sasha messed with her kid. And that's the other thing. I don't like the idea that Sasha messed with her kid, and now she's gonna wrestle Bayley. What?
Yeah. Look, she got over on Friday. Like, look, the backstage beatdown with Bayley was weak, yes, but that USA stuff got the fan. I know, but it worked.
Crap.
I
know. No, you're right. You're 100% right. It did work.
I'm not the biggest Lacey fan. There are parts of her character work I really like, and I get that she's greener than goose turds, but she's still. The Mountie Canadian ticket thing was genius. I love that she did that. I thought that was really good.
I hate that they reversed that. And
I know. I know.
It's only a gimmick. No, kayfabe. God damn it.
But I like that. I like the Mountie thing for sure. And the USA stuff, her military service, got over. It's undeniable. Got over. You might think
it always does.
You might think it's cliche. You might think
it is cliche.
But guess what? It worked.
Yeah, I'm not denying it. I just don't.
I get it.
There's just nothing about her.
Arthur Perez says Lacey smacks of effort.
I think that is. She's legitimately the definition of a tryhard.
And
she really is. And that's the thing. It's so noticeable. It pulls through. Like when that was my biggest complaint with Natty.
I'm dumbfounded that it does work because I don't think it should, but somehow it is. So I let it go.
And that's the thing. Like that was the same thing. My big problem with Natty when she first debuted was Natty tried way too hard.
Yeah.
And now she fell into a role and she's great, but she tried way too hard and it showed.
And it's weird because Natty doesn't have to work hard with her pedigree.
Yes,
it's
doesn't.
not necessary.
And I never understood why she was really trying so hard.
I mean, I appreciate you not wanting to rest on your laurels.
She's Liberty Bell. You're right. She really is.
She should be, but she's nowhere near as good as Liberty Bell. Like the character. Like I wish that the actress was just
a wrestler. Yeah.
But yeah, the kid and her backstory do help work her as a baby.
It does, and I'm not denying that. I just don't like her.
Here's something, and
that's look,
she seems like the kind of person that you would like that I would hate, but it's actually I don't like her, but I see the value. Is all I'm saying. But you know what I was trying to think about? Then this is a slightly off subject, but I was thinking about this because I've talked about previously what I would have done for Kofi Kingston's run. One thing I'm missing is who's the main event world championship bad guy on SmackDown in the past year, except not including Randy Orton. Because how I would end Kofi's run, I wouldn't have Randy take it from him, but Randy would be the last big win that he gets, and then just like what they did. But
who's that next guy in line?
They never have the heel champion.
Well, they do right now.
Former heel champion. Former heel. Like, who's the veteran? Who's the veteran heel ex-champion?
They don't.
They haven't had it. And I was thinking about this, and I'm like, I don't think they really have that guy. It's Orton and no one else.
It's actually...
Which is weird.
Yeah, like...
The Miz, you can make the argument for.
I mean, AJ's on Raw.
AJ's on Raw. But he wasn't a heel when he was on SmackDown.
Right. In the beginning he was, but not.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
when he had the feud with
since
Cena.
But since Kofi
Since
won. Since Kofi won.
And that's actually one of the big things why I don't think Kofi's title reign is going to go down as being like this big memorable thing. Who did Kofi beat?
Yeah,
You know? And
the Orton win.
The Orton win is the icing on the cake, and that's fine. But other than that, who were the contenders? Like there wasn't like that big. Orton was the big guy, but in between Bryan
that's
and
why
Orton,
why he's the guy who caps it off. To me, it starts with Bryan and it ends with Randy.
The point that I'm making is that the WWE has a
Ziggler is not the answer. I'm sorry.
I love Dolph Ziggler,
but he's not the.
But he's
you
not.
know that's
He's
not what I mean.
I agree. The WWE's in this position now where they've made too little of stars.
Yes.
And now there's nobody that seems like
because they put too many of their eggs in one basket. They
Right.
push too hard, too few guys. They haven't developed the stars. And the funny thing to me is WWE for a period of time in the '90s during the new, the new generation, they perpetually made sure they turn and burn.
Yeah.
Like they never let someone stay hot for very long because they were always pushing the next guy.
Right, and that's why you had pay-per-views where like you had Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit, Kane, and I'm trying to think of somebody else, and Big Show in like an opening match.
Yeah, but I'm even talking about before that, like the entirety of the early '90s all the way down. Like as soon as Hogan got out, they did a good job of keeping the basket fresh. It's like, hey, let's try Lex Luger. He doesn't even win. Then let's go to Brett, and let's the douchebag. But
how many guys do you think they should push or build up? I think they at least need 5 more main event, like surefire main event guys.
As my utilitarian booking episode dictates, I agree with this. You should be pushing trying to get as many people over as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And I understand you can't give everyone a title and you can't push everybody, but you can make as many people look good as possible.
Right.
It really is 9 times out of 10 the best strategy because you never know. You do the best that you can with who you got in their situation, and then you see who catches fire. And based off of that, then understand your main event scene. That's the way it's always been done, and that's the way it should be done.
Elijah Washington, you're 100% right. AEW's music does suck.
I agree. Hey, WWE just fired their music guy. That's who they should hire. I don't understand when
they hired 2 of them. They fired Johnson, and then they fired CFO.
Well, Johnson is the one they should have.
Yeah, and then they fired CFO right after that.
But what I don't get is like let's get Justin Roberts out of all the ex-WWE guys. They get some of them make sense to me, but a lot of them don't. Justin Roberts makes no sense to me. I was like, really? That was the must.
I'm fine with that. I mean, he's an announcer.
Look,
that doesn't bother me.
No, no. Look, the guy who's most famous for getting choked out and getting Daniel Bryan fired. That's really what he's most known for.
Sure.
And I'm not just saying this not to be loyal.
He's
to
very
I'm not just trying to say this to be a homer, but the reality is Mark Haggerty should have been AEW's announcer. Okay, that's just plain and simple. For the independent scene, he's the guy that you want. He makes the most sense.
Yeah, Ben Espinosa. That's because Chris Jericho uses his own music. My thing, look, and I'm gonna get heat from saying this because, don't get me wrong, I love the man. Jim Ross was a bad hire too.
Yeah.
Don't put him on TV.
I was
don't
going
put
to say,
him on
if
TV.
you put him in the back for creative,
don't put him on
fine,
TV.
But he clearly doesn't care anymore. Tony Schiavone, absolute waste of purchase.
Another one too.
But I'm not the biggest Schiavone guy.
And the thing is that Schiavone just comes off as he doesn't know anything, and JR comes off
because he doesn't.
Right, and JR comes off that he's like, he knows a little bit more than Tony Schiavone.
And my question is, what is Joey Styles doing?
I don't know. Why is he not there? And it's this thing, like, I couldn't stand Excalibur in the beginning. I was oh my God,
I still don't like
this guy's just a big
Golden
mark.
Boy is the answer. Golden Boy is the best guy they have.
Right, but my thing about Excalibur is that at least, like, he knows the product and he knows who people are. Like, I'll give him that. When Dr. Luther, who I only know because of how good of a friend he was to Chris Jericho and all the stuff he wrote about in his book, but I couldn't have picked him out of a lineup, but it made him feel important when Excalibur saw him.
Yeah.
Nobody else, everybody else, like, I feel like JR and Tony Schiavone were just like, oh, there's a bald guy there. You know what I mean? Like,
it's just, I have a list of like guys that they shouldn't have had. Like Ty Dillinger, they should have hired. That was a good move.
Yeah,
I like that. Brody Lee, assuming they do that, I think that is a good purchase. Dean Ambrose was an absolutely good
absolutely, that was a must.
But I said the same thing. I don't think Chris Jericho should have had the championship.
You say that all the time. I think it was the only move they can make.
Look,
we'll just agree to disagree on that. We have a minute, so I don't really have enough time to start doing that.
Brock is on Raw.
How about this? Why isn't Taz doing color at least?
I wouldn't even endorse Taz.
I like Taz.
I don't mind Taz, but
Joey Styles retired from commentating after the whole getting fired from Evolve due to a poor joke backstage. Yeah, exactly.
They could have gotten him if they really wanted to.
He's 100%
Yes, I'm aware
right.
of that story, but it's Joey frickin' Styles. And I'm not even the biggest fan of Cornette on commentary. But before NWA Power, they could never get him because he hates traveling. But it would have been interesting if you had Joey Styles and Cornette, or just Joey by himself.
It would have been fine. Even I'm okay with Joey Styles and Excalibur. I think he would have added a little something.
No,
at least.
Joey Styles and
I'm not an Excalibur fan, but the guy at least knows the damn product.
And might I also want to point out that it seems that SmackDown has gone back down to a 2-person commentary.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that too, but I am curious when that happened. I watched
just the debut of SmackDown, like when they went to Fridays.
I could have sworn they had a 3-man team.
Nope, it was just Corey and Cole.
I watched a little bit of SmackDown on Friday. First time I've watched it in weeks. I didn't watch the whole thing. I just watched a little bit.
Okay.
And I was like, interesting.
I gotta go though because I have my other show to do.
Well, let them know where they can find you.
So I posted my first video on my channel.
Of the year.
Of the year, yeah. So Slam Sessions Network on YouTube. Check it out. It's an unboxing. But if you look at the comments, I promised Base Up a certain something, and that is already filmed. I have an episode that should be coming out this week. I want to say Wednesday should be the day that I'll be dropping it. It's a 30-minute huge. Yeah, Mark Strike just likes talking to himself. I don't know why. I don't know where he's going. It's a 30-minute episode. It's what I wanted to be a live stream, but I don't have the capacity to live stream right now. But that'll be on there. Harry Flynn, your episode is recorded, and it will be up pretty soon. I just have to edit everything. But yeah, check it out. Let me know what you think. Zack Ryder watched the video, and he told me he liked it. And if you need proof, I will screenshot it and post it in my in my Facebook group. So yeah.
Ben Espinoza, I will definitely be down with that. And where can they find you in just a couple of minutes?
Oh, hold on. It's mixlrradio.com/MESN radio, I think. I don't know. Facebook.com/the Slam Sessions Podcast Network. You'll find me there. We'll be talking football. We'll be talking about the playoffs. So join me there.
Well, thank you for coming on. As always, glad to have you back. Glad to start the year off with you. Go on to your other show. I'll hang tight with these guys while you get set up for the next couple of minutes.
Don't get
say goodbye, everybody.
Yep, and don't get too ingrained in everything that Dave says because you know he's not as good as I am.
Yes, it's a pain actually being accurate.
It's funny. Like I get called a mark. No one's called out that I've been wearing the Mr. AEW's T-shirt the entire time.
Because they know you're a mark and it doesn't have to be brought out.
That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
All right.
Later.
See you later.
Okay. All right. Should AEW producers tell Jim Ross ahead of time certain moments to keep the situation? I don't know about stuff like I don't know if it's that or whatever it is situation. Look, and I don't want to disparage Jim Ross. I understand that he's been going through a tough time. But personally, I was never the biggest Jim Ross fan. His number one attribute to me was always his emotion. Jim Ross was not the guy. He was never the guy for calling moves. Like I'm a junkie for that kind of stuff. I like hearing people call moves. I like people giving us statistics. In case you guys don't remember or are not necessarily up to date on it, remember the show Kayfabe Science that was on this channel? The whole point of that show was because I was trying to do what I think commentary is supposed to do, is make up this pseudoscience, this kayfabe science for why moves hurt the way they do. And yeah, I went off the rails with it. It just became a completely different entity. But that was the whole point because I felt the commentary wasn't doing that. And so, but I'm the guy who likes that kind of thing. I like the pseudoscience behind it. I like the kayfabe justifications behind it. I think that's one thing commentary should be doing. And I feel commentary isn't. So that is the style of commentary I personally like. Jim Ross is not that guy, so we'll start there. However, I still saw a great value in Jim Ross's commentary through his emotion. How excited he got, his passion for his calls. Even if he didn't know the names of any moves or he didn't drop the names of every moves every once in a while, he just gave you such passion. That carried a lot of guys to getting them over. And that's fine. But we're not getting that Jim Ross now. So now we got a Jim Ross who isn't really being the most technical in terms of commentary, but we're also not getting the most enthusiastic, emotional commentary either. So if that's the case, that's problematic for me. No, Mark Strike, I won't. How's that? This is Morgan's. I talk your teacher? Yeah, everybody's a Mark in some regards, and good to see you here. Well, now, the only reason I watched this on Monday left. Big fan of Albert, huh? You should tell him how you feel. Where is he going without Albert? The stream is falling apart. Wow, Mighty Martinez. Someone needs to revive Gordon Sully. Well, that would be great. Do you think WWE have way too many people to not have a lot of good storylines? Yes. Last I checked, they have over 200 workers. CHM. Will we get kayfabe signs in 2020? You know, I'm thinking about that. I'm trying to work on my schedule. You know, I'm working so much more now. It's very hard to try and, but I honestly do want to try and bring some of the shows back, if I can. Yeah, it's hard to be perfectly honest. I'm struggling to keep the main show going every week. It is hard. Honest Promo Wrestle Kingdom, that would have been nice, but yeah. It's like I would like to. I really would, but I didn't mute you, you paranoid nut. What's your opinion on Tessa Blanchard's situation? We talked about that in the very beginning of the show. I was honestly glad that we kind of moved on to it. But yeah, so yeah. All right, so guys, go over and check out Albert's show if you like the football. Check out him and Avi. Thank you, by the way, for being here. Thank you for all the thumbs up and all the likes. Really does mean a lot. And thank you for being here. And, of course, again, thank you for the super chats. Really does mean a lot. Thank you, thank you. Stay tuned. I hope you enjoyed it. Finally got Albert back. Let me also know in the comments what you guys think about the colored lights we have on the side. I tried this out on the comic book channel on Friday. I don't think anyone really cared, but you know, just trying something different. Anyway, so thank you again for everything. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the thumbs up, and of course, thank you for the super chats. They really, really do help support this channel. And as always, Dave knows.